We'll go ahead and get started. It's me and you. So this is our first new teacher voice. We thought that we would just carve out a space in order to answer questions and give advice to those who are embarking on this awesome journey of being an educator. So we actually posted a Padlet and left space for people to post questions, and I will get to some of those questions in just a moment. Before we get started, Sarah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Thomas, and I'm a regional technology coordinator living in Virginia, working in Maryland, so I just split the difference and call it the DC area. I'm also the founder of EduMatch, which is a global network of educators who come together to pretty much take over social media and grow and learn together in all different ways.
Great, Sarah. Thanks for joining today. And EduMatch, EduMatch. If you're on Twitter, that is the place to be. All things education. You can pose any question, and EduMatch is a great place, great resource to reach out to people to get help and advice. And I'm Nicole Taylor. I am a blended learning specialist, helping teachers to integrate technology into their teaching and learning in Lancaster, Texas, which is right outside of Dallas. So we'll get started with just some tips and tidbits for new teachers. I'll get started, Sarah, and then if you would like to throw a tip in, then I will pass the mic to you. The biggest piece of advice that I have for new teachers is to be organized, to work on your organization. Get a good organization system down. Know that what you think is going to work probably won't, so be willing to be flexible with that organization system. When I'm speaking of organization, I'm thinking about chunking out your day, knowing when you'll be teaching, knowing when you will be grading papers, when you will lesson plan daily, because you kind of want to chunk that up every day so that you're not spending your entire weekend or having to stay super late one day after school. Also, I'm thinking about organizing your room. So thinking about the flow of your classroom, where kids will sit, where you're going to keep supplies for them. Just thinking about organization is probably the biggest, I would say, downfall for both new and seasoned teachers, because there's so much to do as a teacher, because it's such a great responsibility. Wouldn't you agree, Sarah? There's just so much to do. So
Totally.
the biggest thing that I would say is to work on organization. What would you advise new teachers to work on, Sarah?
Well, I would say that for me, the biggest problem that I had when I was a new teacher was that I wanted to look like I was on top of things. I didn't want to look like I didn't know what I was doing. I thought that that would make me look weak. But the truth is that, even us seasoned veterans, I've been in the game now for 12 years, and there's still some times that I don't know what I'm doing. So, I mean, it's okay. It is okay to know that we are all works in progress. So that being said, being comfortable to reach out and grow with people, like that has been seriously the best thing that has helped me, has been getting connected on Twitter, on Voxer, on Google+, Facebook, Slack, Instagram, every single social network that I can, just to kind of soak up the learning, and to connect with other teachers who are just trying to be better. So I mean, the best thing is to know that we are all works in progress and keep going together.
I agree with Sarah. Reach out for help. As a new teacher, Sarah is like the queen of all things social media, so she probably threw out a lot of tools out there that may be new to you. I would choose one. Choose one. Maybe you're going to connect with Slack, or you're going to connect via Twitter, or you're going to connect via Facebook. But yeah, find some people that you can ask questions. I see that Valerie and Brad have joined us. So right now, Valerie and Brad, we are just tossing around some tips for new teachers. I shared the need to be organized, because that really can be a downfall as an educator if you don't work on your organization. And Sarah also shared that you should always be willing to ask questions. You know, you're never too far into this thing where you don't ask questions, whether you're new or a veteran teacher. So if we could, we'll start with Brad, and then Brad, if you'll pass the mic to Valerie, if you guys could introduce yourself and throw a new teacher tip into the hat, please.
Okay, so I'm Bradford Harris. I'm from the Aldine Independent School District in Houston, Texas, and I am an instructional technology specialist. So I help integrate and blend all the technology onto my campus. I'm going to piggyback off of what Sarah said. Always ask questions. No question is too big. No question is too small. Take it day by day. Some of the teachers that I've talked to from my end, there's a lot of things thrown at you within a matter of 2 or 3 weeks before even the kids get here. You're learning about IEPs, ARDs, scheduling, even plugging in a computer. There's just so much stuff that's going on, and I know it's overwhelming. And I can see it in some of the teachers' faces, like, oh my God, how can where do I begin? I always tell my new teachers at the end of the day, what really matters is you in the classroom with your children. Get those procedures down. Welcome them at the door. Don't even worry about, and this is coming from me, don't even worry about technology from day one, because you got so much stuff that you're trying to do that first day, that first week, that you don't have to worry about getting your technology up and running. Have some hands-on activities for the kids. There's nothing wrong with going old school and writing some stuff on the board just to get to know your kids and having those small groups in the beginning. The technology integration will come, and with that technology integration, just make sure you take it step by step, little by little. You don't have to do anything grand or big in the beginning. Take it small, and by the end of the year, you'll be amazed at the things that you can do. So those are some of my tips, and I will pass it on to Valerie.
I think she's speaking. She may be on mute. Can you guys hear Valerie?
I can't hear Valerie right now. Let me send, maybe she's figured out that we can't hear her.
Whatever she's saying, it looks so good.
Let's see here. Yeah, I heard a pop.
Okay, so I'm going to go to our Padlet so that we can kind of see some of the questions that were posted. Let's see if I can share the screen here with you guys. Can you guys see the Padlet?
I can see the Padlet, yes.
Okay, so here are some questions that were posted, and Valerie kind of put some things on here also, dealing with things that new teachers may have questions about. This actually was posted this morning. It says, "Hi Nicole, looking forward to working with you on campus." So it's someone from a school district. This person is looking for tools designed to assist students with memory aids and learning tools that can bridge the gap. Besides the reading and writing Google, SPED inclusion services. So do you guys have any advice or any tips for tools for memorization or for special education inclusion services?
I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now. Usually putting things in, I don't know if this is the right word, but like mnemonic devices, or just making little rhymes or sayings when it comes to learning material, and a repetition with it. I like adding music to things. I like making things comical. I like to stand up and have the body moving. There was one thing that I did when I was in the classroom when we were learning, I think solid, liquid, and gas or something like that, and we had to figure out what the particles were. So I had everybody get up and show like this was a solid, and they had their hands in the fist, and I would make a joke about, hey, yeah, we're gonna fight or something like that. We didn't really do that, but they got the idea that your particles are real clenched up. And then liquid, your fingers are kind of moving a little bit. Gas, it's everywhere. So, and then you do it more than once, and you make it fun. So when you're looking at your lessons, and I think this goes for special ed, it goes for any student. Look at your lesson, make mnemonic devices out of things, get up and get physical with it, because they'll remember those things. I've seen it when they take benchmark tests. You'll see them like do like small like. And you realize that they're getting it. Even things like with Brain Pop. I mean, I don't want to plug a tool out there, but like Brain Pop, you can make your own quizzes. Google Forms, you can make your own quizzes. You can take pictures of your classroom doing these activities. And when kids are looking at that, something triggers in their brain saying, oh, we did this in class. I know what that answer is. So it doesn't look like a regular benchmark. It doesn't look like a regular worksheet. It's something that is related to what you're doing in the classroom.
And I see that Valerie do you have sound, Valerie? Okay, so I can't hear Valerie, but she did leave some comments, because this is, her specialty, because she actually works with 11th and 12th grade special education students, I believe, in the ELAR setting. So she has given the recommendations, some of the same things that you said, Brad, with the acronyms and the music, get them up and moving, and some acronyms, and also SoundCloud for SPED kids. She said creating memes and graphics are usually fun, and not only for SPED kids, but those are fun for all students. And some of these things that because I was going to say some of the same things, just get them up and moving. If they can have something to remember, when they're doing whatever, then it will stick a little better. And these are just good things for all kids. And I see that ThingLink too. Does anyone else? Sarah, do you have anything for SPED students that work with you, with your students?
Well, I know a couple of things. I guess I'm throwing tech back into the mix, but I know that, well, okay, not exactly, because one thing that has really helped has been practice.
Sarah froze on my.
Yes, Sarah is frozen. So I see that Valerie is also saying that when you teach lessons, you want to make sure that your lessons are related to real life, so that the kids actually can connect with the lesson also. So I'm going to go back to our Padlet. And next, school supplies. It says, how do you fund and furnish your classroom when the school gives you nothing? That is a very good question. Anyone want to address that?
I'm gonna take a bat at that. Of course, there's pledge cents, there's donors choose, and I'm gonna be real honest. I hate to say it, but this is what we do as educators. We come out of our own pocket. What I tell my parents too, and I think it's reassuring for parents, is that I let them know that, hey, first and foremost, I am a parent, so I know where you're coming from, and I know that doesn't connect with all of our teachers because some of the teachers are single, but that's what works for me. But one of the main things I tell my parents is, hey, it's funny because when school starts, that's when all the money has already been spent. And they've bought school supplies. I mean, they bought clothes. They've paid their bills. And all of a sudden, now it's time for supplies, and they just don't have it. And it's understandable. So the way I ease my parents, I say, hey, I just need pencil and paper. Let's start with some pencil and some paper. let's start with a pencil and a composition book, and then I'll give you the rest, and hopefully, you know, we can all come together and let's come up with some type of donation thing or whatever. But when it comes to the school supplies, keep it as simple as you can, because most of our parents, I come from a Title I district, and a lot of our parents don't have all that money to spend. Most of my parents don't only have one child, they have 3 or 4. They have cousins, nieces, and nephews that they're also taking care of. They're adopting kids. There's a lot going on. So keep it small. Keep in the mindset in the beginning, the first 1 or 2 weeks, hey, I'm just going to need pencil and paper from you guys. Glue maybe too, but just so we can start writing and sharing our thoughts, I need pencil and paper.
Those are very good suggestions. And one thing, because I also have kids, I have 3 kids who are in public school, and I have also worked, the majority of my years I've worked in Title I school districts. So whenever I go to pick up supplies for my kids at the beginning of the school year, I generally pick up a few supplies for my classroom also. So, you know, you can get markers right now for like 50 cents to $1. I usually get 10 to 20-ish because I want them to last the entire school year. So I always get markers, pencil, paper, those kind of things, the things that I know that I'll be able to work with. And I love the advice to keep your school supply list simple. I've seen some school supply lists that are just outlandish. Like, even as an educator, I don't know what you're going to do with all those things. So I only ask kids to bring exactly what I need them to have. And over the years, I have really just developed the mindset too that if I want kids to have it, then I make sure that I have it for them. Because I know working in a Title I school district where most of our kids are on free and reduced lunch, sometimes the money just isn't there, and I don't get in the tit for tat that they have this and they have that. Education is really important, and I want the kids to know that I value it, and so anything that I need them to have in my classroom, I'm going to provide it for them.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes. Welcome, Valerie.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to jump in on this classroom supply thing here. So as a teacher, and I know that the elementary level, those classrooms are always so inviting. And when you get up to the high school level, you'll start to see the classroom walls and the stations diminish a little bit. But don't forget that those high school kids, they still need that warm and inviting space. So start thinking about how you might be able to bring simple things from your home, or maybe family members, or things that you find at garage sales that may make that space a little cozier. The bigger kids love the couch spaces and they love the flexible seating. So even though your classroom and your school may not offer up supplies, just think about those retired teachers that are giving away things. Or if you can even go down to the thrift store, you'll find, I found, even for my own personal children, hooked on phonics sets for $1, and I'm talking about brand new with the wrapper still on there in great condition. So don't think that everything that you need to do needs to be at full price, or it needs to be at the school supply store, because sometimes even the school supply store, like School Box, may be so expensive. So really maximize your dollars, because we know as teachers we already do not make enough. So garage sales are going to be your friends. Talk to the people in the lunchroom. Sometimes they have those milk crates that are sitting around that they get rid of every single day and get new ones. Those milk crates serve as seating for the small kids or as a footrest for the big kids. And all you need to do is just maybe pad it with some type of cushion to just make sure that, you know, when they're seated on it, they're not hurting their bottom sides. So there are really ways to get creative. If you follow the Deskless Tribe on Twitter, they offer a lot of great resources and pictures on how to just make the most out of what you have without spending your whole entire paycheck.
Very true. And when you said milk crates, they also, I would take one milk crate and just put one on top. They also serve as bookcases. So to
Yep.
hold student supplies or books. So yeah, cheap, free is always in the budget, always. New
Yes.
teacher or veteran teacher. I'm going to go back and see if we have a few more questions that we can grab off of our Padlet.
With Nicole, while you're doing that, I was also going to respond to that supply list too.
Cool.
I know as teachers, obviously we come back weeks before kids come back, and a lot of our scope and sequence are already there. We're already working with our teachers with our scope and sequence or with some type of lesson plan. Look at what you have. Look at what you're doing those first maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of school, and see what all is involved in those lessons. A lot of it may be just write and respond to this, or cut out this, or do this. That's probably going to indicate like what kind of supplies you think you may need. That way you're at least through those first couple weeks of school, and you're already doing what the scope and sequence of your content is telling you to do. So that helps a lot too.
Okay, and Sarah, did you want to say anything about schools, about supplies?
I think that everyone offers some fantastic tips. Just wanted to piggyback on one thing that Valerie said about I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, but about retiring teachers and how a lot of times they will be giving away their things. Also, another thing I'll throw in the mix is just to, again, not to be afraid to ask. A lot of times, especially with like classroom subscriptions to different different tools or whatever, then sometimes if you ask, then you might get it. Like, for example, there was a device a few years ago that was out there that people were using to videotape themselves recording. So they came out with the new model, and they started giving away the first model to educators for free. And me, not knowing, I paid $100 for it on Amazon when I could have gotten it.
Oh.
Definitely just not being afraid to ask. If it's outside of the budget, then just ask. The worst that people can say is no.
I agree. That's what I always tell teachers that I support. I'll ask. The worst they could ever say is no. So now our last two questions are about classroom management. So I think I can kind of lump them together. Keeping students engaged and rewarding students. So how do we keep students engaged, and how do we reward them? Valerie mentioned earlier about making the lessons so that students can have a connection to them, that they're real life and they're applicable. That good teaching is the best defense against bad behavior. So I always tell myself, as I look through my plans or look over what I'm doing for the day, I think, is this fun for me? Because I am not a sit and get type of person. If we have a conference, you will see me in the area where people are standing and talking and debating and sharing and building, those kind of things. So I try to structure my lessons in the same manner. I do realize sometimes kids do have to sit for some periods of time, but even if we have to sit, we're only sitting, it's 15 minutes and we're moving on to something else, or 20 minutes and we're moving on to something else. So you may not know, exactly what the kids are doing or what they're into, but just think, is this something that would hold their attention? Is it something that is interesting to you? If it's interesting to you, if it's fun to you, if it's a lesson that you would want your niece or your son or your daughter to sit through, then 9 times out of 10, you are not going to have a lot of classroom management issues, because kids are going to be engaged and they're going to want to participate. So.
All right, so I guess I'll jump in on this one too, because this was probably my weakest point as a new teacher in terms of classroom management. I came in through alternative certification, so I mean that was definitely a steep learning curve. But it gets better. So definitely, first of all, hang in there. If it is a little bit rocky, then just keep on, talking to people, reaching out for tips, things of that nature. But the one thing that really, really, really helped me like the quickest was probably around year 7, I want to say, and it took a long time, but around year 7, I learned about gamification, which is a really cool practice. So definitely, I would encourage everyone who's watching, if you're a new teacher, first get your feet wet, get the ground under your feet. But once you start feeling a little comfortable and you're ready to try something new, then look into the practice of gamification, which is pretty much making your class feel like a game. You have points, you have levels, you have all kinds of choice. And I mean, at first it was a quick fix for me for behavior, but it turned into so much more than that. It really turned into kind of personalized learning, just engaging the students on so many levels, and teamwork, collaboration, all those soft skills that we want to have, that we want our students to have. It really helped in that. So definitely, that's one thing to keep in mind. Keep it on the back burner.
Mhm.
I'm gonna add to. I know as new teachers, what we tend to struggle with from year 0 to year 5, we tend to think that whatever the district is providing us as far as lessons or curriculum, that's the end all be all and that's it. And we get into a habit of, if we're teaching the water cycle, this is the way I've taught it. So when I got here, this is what the district gave me, and now I'm in year 7, because Sarah was talking about year 7. Now I'm in year 7, and I'm still doing it. But what we tend to realize is that, the kids change every single year, and we're not changing. And I've told a lot of my new teachers, it is okay to tell I don't know if y'all have skill specialists. I have skill specialists, or people who are above me who help us create these lessons. It's okay to say, you know what, my kids aren't learning this way. Is it okay if I look over here? I looked at, say, for example, I have a friend, Nicole, and this is how they're doing this lesson on water cycle, and she's gotten it in 2 days, whereas we're doing it in 5, and the kids are loving it and they're getting it. Is that okay? And the biggest thing that my own personal skills told me was, do they know, and Nicole will say this because we know we're in Texas, do they know the TEK? That's our standards that we go off of. Do they know the Common Core, or have they mastered that skill? And if it's a yes or a no, or you need to look at other avenues. And it's okay. You're with a group of other people that have maybe done a particular lesson a certain way that's not with the district. You're reaching the kids. You're not reaching the district. You're reaching the kids. So if you find something that's out of the box and it still meets the standards, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And I'll add on to what you all said, and everyone definitely has given great advice. Before we do all of those things, in order to have classroom management, you need to make sure that you like kids, that you're in this profession for the right reason, and then you need to make sure that you establish with a relationship and a rapport with those kids because you like them and because you're coming into this with the mentality that by any means necessary, you are going to help them win. That is your sole priority and mission, that these kids succeed. Are there going to be some kids that are going to test your last nerves? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you want to kill those particular kids with kindness. And you want to still establish the fact that you have to help them win. So first and foremost, before anything, get to know your kids, establish a relationship with them, allow them to recognize that you are human and that you can relate to even some of the things that they are into. So if you are, working with kids that really love hip hop music, and that may not be your choice of genre, you still need to be up on your game. You need to listen to a little bit of it so that you can make some type of reference to it, so that way they can say, oh, okay. And kids love the fact to know that she's trying to learn our music. and they want to teach you. And that's where the bond starts to form. They'll recognize that you don't have a clue. And that's okay, because they'll be willing then to say, we're going to help you out, or they'll try to school you on it. So establish that relationship, establish that rapport, allow your students to recognize that no matter what, you are in their corner for them to win. And when they recognize that, they are going to perform for you. They are going to want to please you, and they will not allow that classroom to become a space that's disruptive. And that student that becomes off the chain, trust you me, the other students will shut that student down for you. They'll say, no, we can't do that up in here. Come on, give her respect. We want to learn. And so you won't even find yourself having to do all of the management piece. Your classroom will manage itself. And so make sure that your lessons are engaging. Make sure that they are relatable. Make sure that you are preparing, that you're not just coming in there winging it, because the kids will recognize that. Come in there with and be flexible. If something is not working out, do not just try to keep driving that bad machine. Stop. Pause. If the kids bring up a topic that they want to discuss and it becomes a teachable moment, go with it. Take a moment to let them amplify their voice and talk about what they want to talk about, and then jump back into what it is that you need to move forward with. And when kids see that you're willing to allow them to own the learning and be part of it, that's going to be the best year ever.
I totally agree with you, Valerie. It reminded me of my last group of kids. As a campus instructional coach, I volunteered to teach one class. Yeah, that was a crazy year. But I taught one class, one section of honors, pre-AP honors math for 6th grade. Some of the smartest kids I've ever taught. And within the first week of school, I thought my lessons were great. I thought I was really doing it, but I noticed a couple of them were kind of glazing over, getting fidgety, and I just kind of asked them, what's the deal? And I was trying to, chunk it. I was doing kind of a 50-50 split, where I taught half and they did some computer work half, and they told me, we got it. Like, we know what this is. We knew what it was 15 minutes ago. Can you just let us go? So I just totally restructured my class, and I had zero problems with those kids, because they knew that that was their classroom and I was going to do whatever it took, whatever worked for them. So I think we've answered all of the questions on the Padlet. I've actually tried to go back and place some of the answers on there, and if you guys would do the same, if there's anything that you see that I didn't capture, if you could go ahead and put that response on the Padlet too. I am going to just close by saying, enjoy your first year. Know that this is one of the best professions on earth. I really feel like being a teacher is a calling. It's something that you don't just have a 9 to 5. It's a lifetime commitment. It's something that's always on your heart. It's always on your mind. And I just feel really honored to be amongst fellow educators and to serve students. We will be here. You can reach out to any of us throughout the school year. I know we've kind of spoken about doing this off and on throughout the school year. You can also reach out to us via Twitter using the hashtag NTVoice for New Teacher Voice. Of course, you can reach out to Sarah at Sarah the Teacher, or anyone on EduMatch, and I will let everyone else close by just giving everyone some beginning of the school year well wishes. And thanks everyone for joining in today.
I just want to say you can reach me at EdTechTinker on Twitter, EdTechTinker, and I also want to say, it's going to be a great year. Take it day by day. Remember that you need to have some me time. It's not all about, and this is coming from me, guys. It's not all about work. It's not all about teaching. You do need some downtime so you can be energized and you can be ready for your children, not just day one. For me and Nicole, we start day one Monday, but for anybody else that's been on day one or week 2, always come in fresh, come in with a positive attitude, always welcome your children from the beginning to the end. And we are here. We're going to help you have that voice, and along with your other teachers on your campus, help have that voice and lean on each other, and the year will be fine.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Valerie.
Nope. Okay, I was just going to say, definitely have a fantastic year. Trust who you are as an individual. I know coming into a new profession, you may feel like I'm at the bottom of the barrel and everybody else is so experienced and I don't know what I'm doing, but trust the skills that you have. Find your own lane, but definitely lean in and lean with those teachers that are in your building. Connect with us if you need, some advice. But just trust who you are. Be the best you that you can be. Remember too that this profession is one that is a public one. So the image and everything that you portray, you want to be professional. And unfortunately, that does mean that sometimes in the public light, you may have to mask some of your social life. So you want to make sure that everything that you do is going to be A1 because your students are looking up to you and they're watching you even when you don't think so. And just recharge, rejuvenate. You can connect with me if you need to at the letter I am V. Lewis. So I am V. Lewis, and Lewis is Lewis, and all of us here are willing, and that's why we're doing this, because we recognize that this is a need, so never feel afraid to reach out to us.
All right, everyone, welcome to the first year of the rest of your life. Saying, no, I'm just joking, but welcome to just an amazing year, and I know that, if you've put in place all of these great tips, your year is going to be awesome, and it just keeps on getting better. So be thankful for the good days, be thankful for the bad days, because the bad days will teach you a lesson to help you get better, and trust and believe there will be many, many good days, many, many bad days, but be thankful for all of them because they are all part of the journey, all part of the ride. And just keep in mind, as I forgot who said it earlier, I think it was Brad who was saying that relationships are like everything. So that's definitely what I would focus on going in, because you have such a tremendous impact on the lives of these young people, whether or not you realize it. So definitely build relationships, show them what an adult, what a successful adult looks like. So definitely keep that in mind, that all those eyes will be on you, as Valerie said. But don't be afraid to be yourself. Kick back, enjoy enjoy your students, and let them enjoy you. So definitely build that relationship. So have a great first year, or first few years.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining in, and stay tuned because I'm sure that we will do this again sometime in the near future. We are here to help you throughout your first school year, and if you'd like to reach out to me, you can also reach me at Nicole, which is K-N-I-K-O-L-E. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a great first year or new year, new school year.